Welcome to MDBIO's live corporate webinar. This is David Vidala from RBMG. MDBIO is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange under the symbol MEB. Joining us today is the company's CEO and co-founder, Claude Solitario, who will be going through MDBIO's March investor presentation. This will include an overview of current operations, recent achievements, and upcoming milestones. At the end of the presentation, we will open it up for questions for management to address. If you are interested in asking a question and are logged into the Zoom app or web platform, you can submit your questions to us directly in the chat module. Please note, this presentation is being recorded today, Friday, March 25th, 2022, and will soon be made available on the company's website at medibio.com.au. Today's call may contain forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results, performance, or developments to differ materially from those contained in the statements and are not guarantees of future performance of the company. No assurance can be given that any of the events anticipated by the forward-looking statements will occur, or, if they do occur, what benefits the company will obtain from them. Also, some risks and uncertainties may be out of the control of the company. MDBIO has a full disclaimer on page 2 of their presentation. Lastly, RBMG is not a registered investment advisor or broker-dealer. For more information, please visit rbmilestone.com. And now I'll hand it off to Claude. Claude, the stage is yours.
Thank you, David. As David has mentioned, my name's Claude Solitario, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MDBIO Limited. I'm very excited to be presenting MDBIO to you today. This is a pivotal year in our development. We have some very exciting milestones coming up, and I'm really pleased to be able to present MDBIO to you, and I thank RBMG for enabling me to do so. So MDBIO is a mental health technology company pioneering the use of artificial intelligence in order to identify biological markers for the early detection and screening of mental health conditions. The problem we are trying to solve is essentially one of subjectivity. The problem for many years, as it stands today, is that the diagnosis of mental illness is subjective in nature. It depends very much on the skill of the clinician, the time they have available with the patient, and indeed the candor of the patient. Unfortunately, subjective methods often lead to inadequate diagnosis and inappropriate treatments. At MDBIO, our solution is to change subjectivity into objectivity. So we have identified biomarkers and patterns based on the patient's own biological data to aid in the early detection and screening of mental health conditions, and in particular, we are focused on depression. So why invest in MDBIO? Well, we have a FDA program underway. This is very exciting for us. It's very exciting for me personally because it's been a very long and difficult road. We are now at the cusp of an FDA program, which, if successful, MDBIO's solution will be one of the first objective screening tests for depression that's been approved by the FDA. Our technology is innovative and unique. It is patent protected. The patents cover the mental state, assessing mental state using overnight heart rate. The technology solution is cost-effective to administer, and most importantly, it is scalable. We are targeting a large market. In 2019, the national spending on mental health was some $225 billion and accounted for 5.5% of all health spending in the USA. Another metric, 26% of the US population suffer from a mental health condition in a given year. It is the same in my country of Australia and across the European Union. So with any metric that you care to list, it is a big market. And last but not least, we have an early revenue opportunity with some of our non-clinical products. So MediBio is essentially broken up into two silos, clinical and non-clinical. MEB001 is our flagship product. MEB001 will detect depression objectively in patients that are undergoing a sleep study in a sleep clinic. MEB002 will also detect depression in patients that are undergoing a sleep study in the home environment. So one of them, the 001 is for the clinic environment, 002 is for the home environment. On our non-clinical side, we have LUCA, which is a direct-to-consumer stress app, and ilumen, which is targeted at employers for the benefit of the employees. Quick word on MEB001. We are in discussions with the FDA. We met with them on the 2nd of February. They were very complimentary of the company's objectives. They recognize that an objective test for depression is very much required. They were very complimentary on the trial design. They acknowledged that MEB001 is novel and unique and will likely pave the way for other research and products. So it was a very good endorsement by the FDA, which we're very proud of. We are now in the final stages of agreeing on the endpoints of the validation study, after which the study can begin. So MediBio's vision for MEB001 is that everyone referred for a sleep study will also be simultaneously screened for major depressive episode. Quick word on MEB002. This is in recognition of the growing patient cohort moving from the in-clinic environment to the home environment. We recognize that there is a mass migration from in-clinic to the home, where people would much rather undertake their sleep study in the home environment. I'm very proud to say we have Medbridge Healthcare as a clinical trial partner. Medbridge is a leading provider of sleep laboratory services in the United States. They have some 140 sleep disorder clinics across the country. And it's noteworthy that John Mateus, the Chief Development Officer of Medbridge, and I quote, he says, "The objective identification of depression in patients that suffer from certain sleep disorders is an unmet need." And that was a great endorsement by Medbridge of our program. Moving to the non-clinical side of the business, we have a consumer app, direct-to-consumer app called LUCA. LUCA is quite unique in that it has a biometric to assess a person's stress. We have developed these biometrics based on the deep know-how we have in the relationship between biometrics and mental illness. So LUCA has, if a LUCA user has a Apple or Garmin wearable, they may avail themselves of the biometric. The app will lift cardiac or heart rate activity, physical activity, and sleep activity. That we will apply our algorithms, and the user will get an objective biometric assessment of their stress. If they do not have a wearable, then they may still avail themselves of the app. They can do what we call the perceived stress assessment. This is a series of clinically validated questions designed to also provide the user with a stress assessment. And interestingly, LUCA has a set of modules that we call OTC. They are tools and exercises to confront negative thinking and identify stresses for the user. We at MediBio recognize that stress is not a one fits all. Different people respond to stress differently, and MediBio recognizes that, and the OTC is designed to dig deeply into a person's personality type and assist them in dealing with their stress. We're very proud to be in partnership with Northern Michigan University in regards to LUCA. There is a growing and well-documented problem with stress and anxiety amongst university students, particularly freshmen. So Northern Michigan University has partnered with us to raise awareness of the LUCA app as a prevention tool, so to ensure that students don't go into the red zone. We're very proud to be partnering with them. The program will involve circularizing the Northern Michigan University student population and staff population with a view of onboarding as many as possible on the pilot. And the success of that pilot will see us rolling it out to a student population of some 20 million across 4,000 schools and universities. We're very proud to have Professor Adam Pruess, who is the Distinguished Professor and Head of Psychological Science at Northern Michigan University, join this, along with his co-professors Joshua Carlson and Assistant Professor Dr. Lin Fang. They will be joining us on the pilot and also in the expanded program to other universities. Staying on the non-clinical side, we have the corporate app ilumen. Again, this is quite a unique app. It is targeted at employers for the benefit of their employees. ilumen will provide the employer a rich dashboard of de-identified aggregated data to better manage their most important asset, their workforce. And they will receive a dynamic view of the workforce, broken down into many different metrics. Geographic locations, for example, we can tell whether one office is doing better than another office in terms of their general mental health. If it's a mine site, we can break it down from one mine site to the other, or indeed we can provide demographic data. We like to say that ilumen closes the loop, because we recognize that many employers are already implementing programs for their employees. The problem they have is that there is no way of knowing whether those programs actually work. So with ilumen, we close the loop. And by that, I mean that we can now provide employers an assessment, independent data-driven assessment of whether those programs are actually working. ilumen for employees, they can receive a daily stress score, and if they consistently come up as high risk, then they will receive a confidential email that tells them that they ought to be doing something about it. So the revenue models for these programs, on the clinical side, MEB 001 and MEB 002, it will be a licensing arrangement with a royalty revenue trail. The LUCA consumer app is free to download, and users pay a monthly or annual subscription. And for the ilumen corporate app, that is sold on an enterprise license basis based on a corporation's total workforce. So our plans for the remainder of this calendar year, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very excited to say that after many years of R&D, we are on the cusp of a final validation trial for our flagship product, MEB 001. Once we agree on the final endpoints, we will begin the validation trial, and the data from that trial will be submitted as part of to the FDA as part of a de novo application. If successful, MediBio can lay claim to having the world's first objective test for depression. Very exciting time for me personally, for our shareholders, and indeed for the industry. MEB 002, feasibility trials are about to commence. The interesting thing about MEB 002, or the development of MEB 002, is that we are in discussions with a company that has access to 4,500 patient data sets. And significantly, the majority, if not all, also have a corresponding mental health assessment. This is very interesting for us. It will significantly shorten the time, effort, and cost involved in developing MEB 002. So we're very excited about that. The ilumen app, on the non-clinical side, we are undertaking, as we speak, we are undertaking market feasibility with a hope of launching that commercially in the second half of 2022 calendar year. And LUCA, as I mentioned, it's available for download now on the App Store. However, we are very focused on niche markets for LUCA. We believe there are many niche markets that we can access, the first of which is the college student market I mentioned earlier with the Northern Michigan University. And again, if that is successful, then we will expand, we'll be expanding that to many colleges and universities across the country. So just a brief overview of management. We have Archie DeFillo, who is our Chief Medical Officer. Archie is a very creative Chief Medical Officer. He has many years' experience in neurosurgery and is the architect behind our approach in MEB 001 and MEB 002. Massimiliano Grassi, another very interesting individual. Not only is Massi the head of our artificial intelligence and an AI expert, he also has a clinical psychological background. So he's quite a unique individual. Zorian Fodia, he is head of our software development. And recently we appointed Mark Walensky, who is a very experienced executive, been involved in health and wellness industry for many, many years. And he heads up our business development in North America. My co-director, Melanie Layden, expert on corporate governance. Melanie and I are the company's two Australian-based directors. Peter Carlisle has been a terrific supporter of MediBio. He's managing director of Olympics and action sports at Octagon Worldwide. He's been a terrific supporter of MediBio over the years. Matt Mesnick, MD. Matt probably knows the company as well as I do. Matt and I have been working together for a very long time, and I was pleased to say that I was pleased to announce his appointment on the board as an executive director a few weeks ago, as I was with Stephen Mitchley. Stephen is a senior executive of Vitality Group in the USA, also has a keen interest in our success. We have an advisory board, which Peter Carlisle chairs. Elizabeth Lombardo is a member of that board. Elizabeth is an author and speaker, written prolifically over the years about stress and anxiety. John Matthias, mentioned him earlier. He's the Chief Development Officer of MedBridge Healthcare. He has a keen interest in our success as well, a great supporter. And two individuals that certainly need no introduction. They've both been stalwarts of the mental health industry in the United States. Michael Phelps and Patrick Kennedy. I thank them both. They've stuck with the company for quite a few years now, and I thank them for their support. So that is a very brief and high-level overview of MediBio Limited. As I said, it's an exciting time for the company. It's a pivotal year for us, and I'm looking forward to the next 12 months. And I do hope and wish that you will follow our story. So before signing off, I'd be more than happy. I'll hand back to David. I'll be more than happy to take questions.
All right, thank you, Claude. And if you're interested in asking a question or logged into the Zoom app or web platform, you can submit your question to us directly in the chat module. We'll take a moment to develop that queue. But while we wait, we did receive some preliminary questions during the registration process. So let's start with our first question. So Claude, you mentioned that you're using Apple and Garmin as wearables for the app. Yeah. Are there any plans to branch out into others, such as Fitbit?
Yeah, Fitbit is on the radar. We have not commenced integration of Fitbit yet, but certainly, yes, they are. And indeed, we would like to be agnostic to most or all devices. But yes, Fitbit is certainly on the radar.
Okay. And how many subjects will you need to enroll in the trial to validate MEB 001?
We have proposed to the FDA 370 patients. So we're hoping that 370 patients will adequately validate the MEB 001.
Okay, well, as a follow-up, how many clinics do you think will be involved in this trial?
Yeah, that's a good question, and this is where I thank MedBridge. Currently there are 17. We have 17 of MedBridge's clinics that are in various stages of preparedness. Some are active, some are about to be active. But with 17 clinics, it gives us a good breadth of patient population, which was one of the issues that we discussed with the FDA. So obviously, not all patients can come from the same clinic. We need a good breadth of geographic locations. So we will have anything up to 10 to 15 clinics available for us.
Okay. And without being specific, I know. So without being specific, approximately how long do you think the trials are going to last?
Well, we would like to think that 370 patients can be onboarded within 2 to 3 months. We do know we have seen a slowdown in sleep clinics due to COVID. However, some have slowed down, but others haven't. So generally speaking, I would hope that 2 to 3 months it would be a comfortable period for us to onboard those patients.
All right, and we're going to take one more question, and you might have mentioned it during the presentation, but just for reiteration, what is the current market cap of MediBio?
Oh, yes. MediBio currently, the market cap is about 10 million Australian dollars. And as I say, with the achievement of these major milestones with the FDA, the finalization of the validation trial, and LUCA and ilumen entering the market, I would hope we would not be at $10 million for very long.
All right. Well, thank you, Claude, and thank you, everyone, for joining today's webinar. Today's webinar recording will soon be made available on MediBio's website. If you have any additional questions that have not been addressed on this webinar, please feel free to email us at medibio@rbmilestone.com. Again, that's medibio@rbmilestone.com. Thanks again, and you are now free to disconnect.
Thank you.